There is a place where the northern lights transform the sky.
Anything out of the ordinary, you telephone me, night or day.
Modern mermaids spring from the sea.
What's the most amazing thing you ever found?
Impossible to say. See, there's something amazing every 2 or 3 weeks.
The land breathes with an ancient mystery.
Where are we?
And all who witness its wonders come to believe in its magic.
What about the sky?
Sky, sir, is amazing.
I wish you could see it. I wish I could describe it to you.
Just like I'm seeing it.
This is the new film from the producer of Chariots of Fire, Local Hero.
The survey teams have found just about the only suitable bay on the entire coast.
I think we should get a negotiator on the side right away.
We're here on kind of a mission.
Same here.
I don't want to be coy with you, Gordon. We want to buy the whole place. We want to buy everything from the cliffs to the north, through to the bay on the far side. That's all.
Oh, boy. Are we going to be rich?
Peter Riegert, Burt Lancaster.
Take the chopper, go to Aberdeen, get on over to Houston.
I want to stay here. Run the hotel. Do little bits of business. You can go to Houston. Take the Porsche, the house, the job. It's a good life there, Gordon.
Local Hero. The story of an ordinary man who cared enough to do something extraordinary. Local Hero.
Hey, welcome back to Dave's Movie Diary. Last night I watched Local Hero from 1983. Hadn't seen it before. Somehow it escaped my viewing. It's a quaint, quietly funny little film with some absolutely stunning photography. It's very comforting and charming and gently amusing. If I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure it's one I'll rush back to revisit, but let's talk about it. Let's unpack. It, like I said, came out in 1983. It was directed by a guy called Bill Forsyth. The premise is pretty straightforward, really. There's an American oil company, and they want to buy a small coastal Scottish village so that they can build a refinery. What happens, a company executive, played by Peter Riegert, is sent across the Atlantic to negotiate the purchase. He's sent across by Burt Lancaster as his boss, a really iconoclastic kind of guy who's more interested in the heavens and celestial bodies than running this massive corporation. And what follows really isn't a battle between good and evil. It's a culture clash story between American corporate thinking and the small Scottish community that really operates according to its own rules. And what happens to the company executive that's sent out there, how he falls in love with the little town, and what ultimately occurs. And the film moves at its own pace. It's less about conflict and more about atmosphere. And I think as the viewer, you kind of fall in love with the little town as well. It's a comfort watch. It's the way a lot of movies used to be, especially around this time. And for what it does and what it sets out to achieve, it's quite successful. And it's got a real underground cult following. So, yeah, Mac McIntyre, he's the ambitious young American executive, the Peter Riegert character. He's there to really convince them to sell their homes and move on. And when he first gets there, he's really gung-ho and thinks that, I'll just offer them a certain amount of money and they'll fold. And a lot of other circumstances I've seen this where the town or whatever, they push back really hard and they, there's violence and whatever. What they do here, or what happens, is that he just gets bewitched by the rhythms of the life that they lead on this idyllic stretch of the Scottish coastline. And the the characters, the locals seem really eccentric to him when he first gets there, but he soon falls in with their rhythm. And there's so many funny things. Like, most people in the town seem to have multiple jobs. Like the guy who runs the bed and breakfast, he's also the lawyer and pours beers at the local pub. And some of the guys at the wharves have got other roles, and everyone knows everyone, and you'd expect that. But I think this film, the characters in this film take it to another level. So life there seems to operate according to a set of unwritten rules that McIntyre never quite understands. It's funny too. His name's McIntyre, and so the American company thinks that he's Scottish, or he's got Scottish lineage, which he actually doesn't have. But he plays along for his career. So look, it's quite a slight plot. The pleasure really comes from spending time with these people and seeing what happens next. So my relationship with the film, it's quite weird. Like I said, this has been around for 43 years. Never seen it. Always been aware of it though. I think I've always thought, yeah, I'll get to it. And eventually I just bit the bullet and said, I'm getting to it now. I'm going to watch this while I can, because I don't know about you, but films from this era seem to have a nasty habit of disappearing forever, or not even appearing in the first place. There's a lot of films that seem to have been cancelled, or there's issues with the rights holders. So more and more now, if I see a film, I'm not waiting until tomorrow, and I'm checking it out now. Maybe that's just where I'm at in life. I'm getting on a bit, guys. I'm 53 years old, so I gotta start prioritizing things. Anyway, back to this. Going in, I did expect something a bit broader, maybe something a bit more comedic, and highlighting the culture clash more than it actually does. So what surprised me was how gentle the whole experience felt. Nothing's exaggerated or pushed. The film observes. And I did find it a bit slow at first, but after a while, my viewing journey kind of followed McIntyre's. I found myself getting slowly seduced into the rhythm of the town and the characters. And I felt really calm when I was watching it, and I enjoyed it. I think there's very few films today that seem comfortable being this quiet and this calm. More and more, there's the emphasis on dramatic things happening to keep up with people's limited concentration spans, I suspect. So, different. The director and cast, Bill Forsyth, he directed it with a pretty light touch. He's not really interested in dramatic speeches or big emotional moments. There aren't a whole lot anyway. He lets the scenes breathe, and the characters reveal themselves naturally, as they probably would if you happened upon this little town yourself. A lot of the humor really comes from simple observation, rather than overt punchlines. And again, it's another thing of its time that the filmmakers trust the audience to notice things. You've got to look hard for some things. It's rewarding. It's like you've discovered something. You've put in the effort and achieved something. So the film never feels like it's trying too hard. So well done to Bill Forsyth. Peter Riegert as Mac. It's quite an understated performance in line with everything else in the film. He's really our guide into this world, okay? Like, he's the corporate outsider, stranger in a strange land, maybe fits the bill here, trying to understand a place that doesn't operate according to the rules that he's used to in the hustle and bustle of American corporate life. And he's believable. His seduction is believable. It's not just a click of the fingers and suddenly he's in love with the place. There's some struggles, there's some frustrations, and he overcomes them. It's a gradual journey, and it's believable. Dennis Lawson as the main village character. We see him early on. He's running the B&B with his lovely wife, and one of the first funny things I found in this film was when McIntyre and his local colleague rock up to to the lawyer's office expecting someone else, there's Dennis Lawson sitting there. And it's like, I wear a few hats. I run the B&B, and I'm also here as the lawyer. And the lead into that by Dennis Lawson is quite sublime. So that was a great moment. He does it, a really winning performance, a lot of charm. I think he would have gone on to have quite a good career. I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure he seems like a natural performer. And the supporting cast is in line with his performance. It's nearly like Bill Forsyth showed up at a real little town and just filmed. That's how it feels. Nobody feels like they're acting. Nothing's exaggerated. All the performances feel lived in, and that's what makes the film work. It's like I think Bill Forsyth really knew what he wanted to achieve here, and he just went out and did it. Lots of things worked for me. The photography and wow, the real star of the film may be the Scottish coast. And Bill Forsyth makes sure that he uses it as much as he can. It's extraordinary. The sunsets on the bay, the wide shots of the sea. I mentioned before that Burt Lancaster's character's obsession is with the stars. And McIntyre sent out there to seal this deal, buy up all these people's homes so that they can build the oil refinery. But his secondary mission is to report in about what's happening in the skies, in the stars, with meteor showers and comets and all sorts of things. And so there's some hilarious scenes where he's phoning in from a phone booth to Burt Lancaster and updating him about progress, about what's happening, obviously, with his prime mission. But Burt Lancaster's sort of like, oh, yeah, yep, cool. But tell me what's happening in the skies. And that's when he comes alive. And that's when Lancaster really, really shines. And such an odd character. And he really gives it a great performance as well. So I should mention Burt Lancaster. Obviously, he's I feel like it was a smart move to get Burt Lancaster attached to this project. It probably ensured the funding for it. Where he was at that point in his career, he was a huge star in the late 50s, 60s, into the 70s a bit. But by now in the 80s, he's like an elder statesman making smaller appearances in films like this. And in all honesty, probably ensuring the film gets made, right? So, definitely deserves a shout out. Some of the most beautiful sunset photography I've seen. Beautiful. The phone booth scenes, I already talked about them. The long distance phone calls. I think that was really one of the quaint things for me, being an older fella, comparatively. Watching someone stand in a phone booth making an international call, it feels almost archaeological now. It makes me feel like a fossil. Like this is a history lesson. All it did was it just took me back to a different era. And it probably says something about my age that I remember exactly what that was like. Fumbling around for coins, waiting for that connection to be made, or if it would be made at all. So maybe younger viewers won't appreciate it, but the older folks certainly will. I should touch on Trudy the Rabbit. Trudy the Rabbit. Sounds really odd, but there's a rabbit in the room that they stay in. Somehow this rabbit becomes one of the most memorable characters in the film, with its twitching nose and the amount of screen time it gets. And it's funny how the camera keeps returning to it. It's just another strange little detail, another quirky little film that this film has in spades. So I just wanted to call that out. I touched on it before with the red phone booths. Took me back to 1983. Here's some other things that really rang true. The short-sleeved business shirts on men. I can remember my dad rocking that look. He also rocked the shorts with the knee-high socks look when it reached summer. So I always loved seeing that. I think I just missed that era. I started working in the mid-90s and that era had gone. It's sad because I really would have liked to see that, seen that look for myself. Calculator watches, I can remember those. They were a real thing around this time. I can remember a mate of mine in year 7 or 8 getting one and thinking it was the coolest thing, and we wanted to use it to write swear-laden messages to each other and really geeky things like that. Anyway, another thing of its time. A lot of the corporate styling took me back. The hairstyles, especially for the women. God, 1983 was tough times for them. The technology. It's really a time capsule of early 80s professional life. They don't scream it out here. They weren't trying to do that. It's just really fun looking back now and remembering what it used to be like. The village itself, I think I've already talked about it, but making that village feel real is an accomplishment. So it just feels lived in. It feels like a documentary, functioning community, not a movie set. That must be really hard to achieve. It's done superbly. All right, what doesn't work as well? Let's be honest. It's a bit slight. It is a quaint, quirky little film. There's not a whole lot beneath the surface. It's not a criticism, just part of its charm, but there's low stakes throughout. So if you're feeling a bit tired, or if you're not fully ready for this film, you might fall asleep, it might pass you by, it mightn't resonate. It's really gentle. It's got a gentle emotional impact. It's soothing, calming. Comforts more than it challenges. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure there's enough dramatic weight here to pull me back repeatedly. I don't think it'll be a rewatch. At least not like some of my favourite films do. So, walking away, I felt relaxed, comforted, mildly amused, nostalgic. There are some funny scenes, not laugh out loud funny, but very amusing, sentimental. Feels like getting a postcard from 1983, I think. That's probably a good way to put it. I guess, will it linger or will it just evaporate? Probably evaporate. But that's why it's good for me to talk about it here. It's worth watching, absolutely. But if you enjoy quiet, character-driven films with beautiful photography, some gentle comedy, looking at a small, eccentric community, seeing what it was like early 80s, great. If you're looking for big drama, high stakes, cinematic experience, fast pacing, constant plot developments, then it won't be your film. It's the pleasures that you derive from this are much quieter. So, small film. Oh, one thing I do love about it, yes, the Mark Knopfler score throughout. Mark Knopfler, obviously the guitarist and leader of Dire Straits, one of my favorite bands ever. And it's interesting. I just finished reading a book about Bob Dylan, and I didn't realize that Mark Knopfler played on Dylan's Infidels album that came out in 1983, the same year that this did. He couldn't go on tour with Dylan apparently because Dire Straits were having to tour as well. So busy time for Mark Knopfler, juggling multiple projects, pulling them all off with the aplomb that he brings to everything. I just love his guitar work. It's so fluid. He's got such a signature tone to his guitar playing. And all throughout the film, it's acoustic, with that Coming Home song that's totally instrumental. But I love the electric version with the sax in it. It reminds me of Newcastle United in the English Premier League. They used it as their theme song a lot. And it's a song I've heard in other places, but this is what it was created for, as a soundtrack to this film. And what a way to finish this film with Coming Home pumping out. And if you don't know the song I'm referring to, if you key it into YouTube or into Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you listen to music, I think you'll recognize it immediately. So that's it. That's Local Hero done. I'm glad I watched it. I've ticked it off, enjoyed it, and that's probably it. I probably won't think too much more about it. So I'm glad to impart that to you. If you are in a similar mood as I was last night, by all means check it out and enjoy. See you next time.